Shang-Chi and the legend of his dollar store rings. Well, at least in the very beginning when the daddy was using them, they was dollar store. But Shang-Chi came and unlocked their true potential. And I'm going to break down for you guys what was good about this movie and what it's leading up to.
The 10 rings are stronger than anything in your universe.
For thousands of years, the 10 rings gave our family legendary power.
If you're finding me for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so when I drop videos, you get them. If you've been following me over the years for the financial and stock advice I give, I've already got the new channel going. We're at 4,000 subscribers, so go subscribe to the Life Game Financial channel. Link is in the description. And if this video goes above 2,000 views, that's not a lot, just 2,000, I would do some Easter eggs and I would explain what happened in the mid-credit, which was probably just as good as the entire movie itself. So let's break this thing down. I did like this movie, and there was a lot of talk and comparison about this with Black Panther in terms of this is going to be a huge movie for the Asian community, and what would it be like? Well, they did have a similar dynamic to Black Panther, being that the family had a whole lot of trauma causing rifts in the family. And in the very opening scene, our one of the main villains, the Mandarin, we finally get the real Mandarin, ladies and gentlemen, not the made-up Mandarin that we saw in Iron Man 3, but the real Mandarin. And he's got these rings that they display the power early on. I wasn't all that impressed. I was like, I've seen something similar to that. I thought these things were going to be cosmic level powerful. And what he did with them in the beginning, that was just basic. Long story short, on the daddy, who winds up being Shang-Chi's father, is that he's a ruler, he's a conqueror, and he runs up on a woman who can match his power even with him using the rings. And they get into a nice little fight, and during the fight I was saying to myself, it looks like y'all dancing more so than fighting. And sure enough, they fall in love. She is able to get him to get rid of his life of crime, and they have Shang-Chi and his sister. They trained them up, ladies and gentlemen, to be tough, rough, and tumble. And the dad puts the rings away and has given up trying to conquer everything. Mama dies. Mama's killed. And sister, dad, and Shang-Chi all split up. Shang-Chi goes to San Francisco. Sister goes somewhere that we don't know about for a little while. Well, we get to San Francisco. Shang-Chi has a little girlfriend who is the comic relief for this movie. She is very, very funny. She's not really his girlfriend. She's more of a friend. But she's funny throughout this whole thing. And then all of a sudden she realizes that this dude's got some powers. And one of the best fighting scenes. So shout out to my people in New York. Because I know my people in New York love martial arts. They love the Shaolin. They love the Bruce Lee. They love the Kung Fu. And this movie's going to give you a lot of that. And it starts out in San Francisco. One of the best scenes of this movie was the fight scene on the bus. And that's when Shang-Chi's girlfriend learns that he's something special. Because these thugs is after him, ninjas and assassins, and a dude whose half of his arm's a damn machete. And I was sitting there wondering, what is his arm made out of? Is it made out of adamantium? Is they introducing that? Is it vibranium? What is this arm made out of? Long story short, they get into a all-out battle on the bus, and I love this scene. But I was questioning, I was like, dude, if I'm driving the bus and a fight breaks out on the bus, I'm not going to keep driving the bus. The damn bus driver kept right on driving. I'm stopping this bus. I'm going to see what the hell is going on. I'm calling the authorities. Well, needless to say, he got his ass knocked out. Nobody's driving the bus. The girlfriend has to go out there and take control of the bus. And this is when we learn just how badass Shang-Chi is with his martial arts skills, with his way he can do his things. And we learn throughout this story, he had been taught by his mom, and he also learned from his dad. So as we get on with the movie, after these assassins take his necklace, we learn that they're after the sister too. So Shang-Chi tries to go and find the sister who is somewhere, another country, doing her thing, and she runs an organized fighting apparatus. Well, this is when we get a good look at Juan fighting, guess who? Guess who? A complete Thunderbolt Ross setup, Abomination. And he actually pulls one of those spells that him and Dr. Strange do that opens up a door, and Abomination winds up punching himself in the face. Now, for those of you that follow the comments and you know Abomination, you know he's not a nice guy. His temper is just about as bad as the Hulk. And he's been friendly with Juan, which has got to let you guys know that is a setup and an Easter egg for that team Val is going to be putting together in the Thunderbolt Ross show. You got to know that. And that's why I said, if this goes over 2,000 views, I will do a Easter egg and kind of tripulation video, let you guys know what's coming. So as we're moving on to the story, of course he finds his sister. Of course the dad infiltrates that, and come to find out, the dad set this up so that he could get with his sister, and then he takes the other pendant from the sister, takes them back to his lair, and tells them that their mother has been speaking to him. Mom has been speaking to him saying, free me from Tallow. And Tallow is where he thinks the mom, his wife, has gone and is in the other world. And so he's got a plan where he's going to burn down the whole village, which includes all the mom's people, just to get there and open this gate and get the mom out. And they take the pendants, he pops them in the dragon, and the dragon gives this vision, it sprinkles up this water. And let me just say this, ladies and gentlemen, CGI on this movie was outstanding. Hand-to-hand combat was outstanding. Okay, all that was great. And now Shang-Chi, his sister, and his sister are trapped at the dad's compound in prison. And this is when they introduce the same actor that played the fake Mandarin in Iron Man 3. He was hemmed up in there for pretending to be the fake Mandarin. And then we get introduced to this little cuddly cute character. Marvel is just strategic in the way they introduce these little cuddly cute characters. And you fall in love with, you know, cats and trees. And this time they've got a little pig with no face with wings. So he's like a pig bird that leads Shang-Chi and his group of people back to Tallow to get through those woods and go to Shang-Chi's aunt, who has a band of people to fight against the brother and protect this door that leads to a gateway to another universe, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got multiverse thrown in here. We've got all this going on. She explains, the aunt explains to her nephew, Shang-Chi, about the history of the dragons and the soul suckers, which in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there was a band of quote-unquote dragons that came through the earth and would suck souls out of people. And they didn't completely go with that whole storyline, but you can tell they're borrowing some of the source material from it. And I don't think we're going to see those space dragons, but I do think that this is definitely 100% a tie-in for the Eternals and the Celestials. And they gave us a lot of Easter eggs to hint to that. And to make this very long story short, right around this area, ladies and gentlemen, is when its story kind of slows down. You know, they're doing a whole lot of building the narrative of the story through dialogue, not necessarily so much as action. And you can kind of get lulled to sleep during this little period. But it certainly quickly picks back up when the dad arrives at the auntie's place to go and unlock that door to the next universe and let out these soul suckers. And we learn in this period, ladies and gentlemen, that the main soul sucker is the one that's sending this signal to the daddy, pretending to be the mama. You know, he's got the daddy thinking that it's the mama, he's coming to free her, and it's really not the mama. The soul sucker knows that if you can get them 10 rings there, the 10 rings can get this door knocked down and get it open. So a battle ensues, and by this point in time, the aunt, the sister, and the girlfriend are telling Shang-Chi that you're going to have to stop daddy from letting these soul suckers out. And Shang-Chi and daddy have a fight, and in the first fight, of course, Shang-Chi gets beat the hell up. But when he lands in the water, he goes underwater, he sees the dragon, which his mama told him he has the heart of. He's got the heart of this dragon. He awakens this dragon, pops out of the water, flies in the air, and the daddy's already opening the door to the next dimension and let these soul suckers out. Some of them creep their little creepy asses out and it's sucking souls. But this dragon is eating them up, okay? So that dragon is helping out the fight. The daddy's people winds up turning against him because they realize these soul suckers are real and they don't have the weapons to deal with them. And so Shang-Chi's aunt's like, y'all need to come work with us so we can take care of these things. And that's what they do. Then Shang-Chi goes and fights the dad. And by this point in time, he understands everything his mama taught him. He's got the daddy's blood in him who's been controlling the rings. The mama's blood who's got the blood of some ancient celestial being with her powers. So now he's merging all these powers. He gets into a fight with the dad. And of course he's controlling the rings at this point. And eventually the main soul sucker gets free, grabs the daddy and starts to suck his soul. And the daddy realizes what his son and everybody was trying to tell him was the truth. That it wasn't the mama, it was this ugly dragon thing trying to tell you to let me loose. So he releases all the rings to the son. And the son is able to use these things like the daddy has never been able to use. They even changed the color. The daddy's color when he was using them was blue. Son's color is orange because he's unlocked the full potential now. And so, of course, he battles the main soul sucker, who is the main villain in this movie. And he winds up beating him with a Kamehameha. For my Dragon Ball Z fans out there, you know what that reference is. And then after that, that's pretty much the end of the movie. And like I said earlier, probably the best thing about this movie was the mid-credit scene where Juan pops up and tells Shang-Chi to bring him and his girlfriend come with him to go back to the sanctum to talk about them damn rings. Because, ladies and gentlemen, these rings are the gateway to Celestials and the gateway to the villain we've been wanting to see get proper justice done. Our boy, Galactus. And basically, I think they're going to set this up in a manner where the Celestials would implant their seedlings into planets, and then when they grow, they would explode. But the balance of nature was Galactus, who would come and suck the life out of those planets. So one could say that maybe the rings come from Galactus, maybe the rings come from the Celestials to protect against Galactus, but somehow or another it's dealing with that, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you stay to see both post-credit scenes. And if I'm going to judge this movie on a scale of 1 to 7, I'll definitely give the movie, 1 to 10, I'll give the movie a 7. I like the visuals. Visuals with Marvel are always going to be outstanding. The score was just iffy. Story was okay. It drug out a little longer than what I wanted to. Leading up to that third act was kind of long. But the hand-to-hand combat was good. And by the time Shang-Chi got the rings, they wasn't dollar store rings. They was real deal. Ancient, multiverse, powerful rings. Do you hear me? And I think he's going to have a long, long career going forward with the new Avengers and with Marvel, just because of how powerful these rings really are. They never gave us an origin, but what we do know is the rings are well over 1,000 years old, and that when he used these rings, when he finally used them and got them from the daddy, him using the powers that his mama taught him and his powers with the ring, they sent a homing beacon to someone. That's your cliffhanger. Someone out there got a homing beacon that these rings have been activated, and it's only 1 or 2 people. It's either the Celestials or it's either Galactus. My bet is Galactus. But leave me your comments if you've seen it. Tell me what you think. And are you looking forward to what they're going to do in terms of a spinoff? I know a lot of y'all was upset because y'all felt like they forced a whole lot of women's rights in this thing, but this is just the way Marvel is going. Didn't feel forced to me. I just felt like they found a way to put this in the story, and at the very end credit, if one wants to say that was forced, because it looks like the sister was creating another Asian version of the Black Widows herself, because she was supposed to have been shutting down the dad's old compound, but when she got there, you know what she started doing? She started revamping that bitch like she was on House Hunters. She's putting up satellites, she's putting in new airplanes, new vehicles, and she was out there training all the women in that area how to be assassins. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video. Please comment, subscribe. Go get yourself that life gain. Hit me up if you've seen it. Leave me some comments. If you ever want to join me on my show on Friday as a friend and talk about anything we cover on my channels, hit me on Instagram and DM me to that next Sexy as Hell video. I'll see you.